morning, Santa Barbara. Good morning, Iloilo. Good morning, Philippines. Welcome to our pre-bid conference. As a participant, you are aware of what to expect today. Before we go on, let me remind you that what we will be doing today could be an exercise of humility. Humility makes us easily accept feedbacks and receive new ideas from other participants. May God help and guide us. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come together as a beautifully diverse group, each bearing unique perspectives and backgrounds. Yet, in this private conference, we are united by a shared purpose and vision. We earnestly pray for your grace to help us set aside our differences to forge connections of harmony and to work together seamlessly. May our conversations be suffused with mutual respect, profound understanding, okay, for our attendance, we may call on um, Madam Ana, another back member. Okay.
Good morning once again. Today we are holding our pre-bid conference for our 8 civil works projects under early procurement activity. May I introduce to you the members of the Bids and Awards Committee headed by Engineer Cynthia Caigoy, back chairman, Engineer Eva Bidonia, back vice chairman, Engineer Jaime Sumagaysay, back provisional member, and Engineer Madonna May Sadaba, back provisional member and end user for construction projects. We also have our back secretariat member, Miss Debbie Amper, and yours truly.
Present.
May I turn over this to Engineer Cynthia Caigoy for our pre-bid conference.
Good morning once again. Since the members of the Bids and Awards Committee are in quorum, I declare this pre-bid conference for civil works to order. We have contract ID number 25GI004, construction completion of multipurpose building, San Miguel, Iloilo. Location, San Miguel, Iloilo, with the funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. Scope of works, completion of LTO satellite building, 4 meter by 5 meter, Regional Director's Office, perimeter fence, painting of walls and columns, plumbing and electrical works, as per plan and specification. The approved budget for the contract is 3,712,500 pesos. Contract duration is 95 calendar days. Then we have contract ID number 25GI0009, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Zone 6, Santa Barbara, Iloilo. Location, Santa Barbara, Iloilo. With the funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. Scope of works, construction of multipurpose building with states and balcony as per plan and specifications. The approved budget for the contract is 4,950,000 with 102 calendar days contract duration. Then we have contract ID number 25GI0012, paving of unpaved road junction Bancal-Leon-Antique, boundary road kilometer 47 plus 630 to kilometer 47 plus 788. Location, Leon, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. Scope of works, paving of unpaved road. The approved budget for the contract is 4,068,960 pesos, and the contract duration is 31 calendar days. Then we have contract ID number 25GI0018, construction of multipurpose building, Zarraga, Iloilo. Location, Zarraga, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. Scope of works, construction of multi-purpose building, including suspended slab, in preparation for the additional story as per plan and specification. And the approved budget for the contract is 499,500 pesos and 103 calendar days contract duration. Then we have contract ID number 25GI0025, construction of Aganan flood control structure, Jaro, Aganan River, Alimodian, Iloilo, Section 6, location, Alimodian, Iloilo, with the funding source of FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, early procurement activity, scope of works, construction of reinforced concrete revetment wall. And the approved budget for the contract is 94,087,500 pesos only. And the contract duration is 315 calendar days. Then we have contract ID number 25GI0029, installation application of road safety facilities, roadway lighting along New Lucena-Santa Barbara Road, kilometer 16 plus negative 467 to negative to kilometer 21 plus 500. And Cabatuan-New Lucena-Banga-Bante Road, kilometer 41 plus minus 677 to kilometer 41 plus minus 186, location Santa Barbara, Iloilo. Funding source FY 2021-25 National Expenditure Program, early procurement activity, scope of works, installation of 410 sets of single-arm solar LED roadway lighting, 8-meter pole with 1.5 mast arm, 120 watts with concrete pedestals, and the approved budget for the contract is 40,827,780 pesos and 180 calendar days contract duration. For contract ID number 25GI0035, Rehabilitation, Major Repair of Bridge Cabugao Norte, B0055 to PN, along Leganes-Santa Barbara Road. Location, Santa Barbara, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, early procurement activity. Scope of works, repair of bridge that includes epoxy injection and epoxy coating on cracks at deck slab, underside, and girders, patching of honeycombs, spalled and uneven areas, application of carbon fiber underside at deck slab and girders, and installation of 4 units, single-arm solar LED roadway lighting, 8-meter pole with 1.5 single mast arm, 120 watts. And the approved budget for the contract is 6,370,000, and the contract duration is 76 calendar days. Then we have contract ID number 25GI0038, reconstruction to concrete pavement junction Bancal-Leon-Antique Boundary Road, kilometer 47 plus 424 to kilometer 47 plus 630 and kilometer 47 plus 788 to kilometer 47 plus 861. Location, Leon, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, early procurement activity. Scope of works, concrete reconstruction with 300 mm slab with drainage. Approved budget for the contract is 9,185,540 pesos. And the contract duration is 79 calendar days.
For eligibility requirements, for Class A documents, we have the legal documents and technical documents and financial documents. For Class B documents, for joint venture. For Class A documents, legal documents. Registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, Department of Trade and Industry for sole proprietorship, or Cooperative Development Authority for cooperatives. Mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zone or areas, and tax clearance per Executive Order 398 Series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. For technical documents, you have the valid pickup license or special pickup license in case of joint venture, and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. For contract ID 25 GI 004, GI 009, and GI 0018 with license categories C and D, kind of project, GB-1, building or industrial plant. For size range, we have small b. Contract ID 25 GI 0012, GI 0035, and GI 0038 with license categories C and D, kind of project G-1, road, highways, pavement, railways, airport horizontal structure, and bridges with a size range of small b. For contract ID 25 GI 0025, license categories B, kind of project, G-2, irrigation or flood control, with a size range of medium A. And for contract ID 25 GI 0029, with license category B, kind of project, G-1, road, highways, pavement, railways, airport horizontal structure, and bridges, with a size range of medium A. Statement of the bidders of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including awarded but not yet started of any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Statement of bidders, single completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid. Adjusted to current prices using Philippine Statistic Authority, consumers' price indices must be at least 50% of the approved budget for the contract to be bid, provided, however, that the contractors under small A and small B categories without similar experience on the contract to be bid may be allowed to bid if the cost of such contract is not more than the allowable range of contract cost of the registration based on the guidelines as prescribed by the PCAT, and a contract shall be considered similar to the contract to be bid if it has the following categories. For contract ID 25 GI 004, GI 009, and GI 0018 with major category of works: building, construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame 1 to 5 stories. Similar categories of work: building, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. Building, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame, cast-in-place pile. Buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame, driven piles. Building, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame, driven piles. Buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, concrete frame. Building, industrial plant, low-rise. Building, industrial plant, high-rise, and building, industrial plant, medium-rise. For contract ID 25 GI 001 to 25 GI 0038 with major category of works: road, construction, PCCP. Similar categories of work: road, rehabilitation, PCCP. Road, construction, tunnel, PCCP. With contract ID 25 GI 0025 with major category of works: flood control, construction, slow protection, using structural measures, example, revetment, retaining structure, and warnet. Similar categories of work: roads, construction, slow protection, using structural measures, example, revetment, retaining structure, warnet. Flood control, hydraulics, river control, ports, harbors, causeway, flood control, hydraulics, dam. For contract ID 25 GI 0029, with major category of works: traffic engineering and management system, including road safety devices. Similar category of works: traffic engineering, guardrails, traffic engineering, pavement markings, traffic engineering, profiled marking, traffic engineering, pavement studs, traffic engineering, signalization, and traffic engineering signages. Contract ID 25 GI 0035, major category of works: bridges, rehabilitation, concrete superstructure without piles. Similar categories of work: bridges, construction, concrete superstructure with driven piles, FHR, flood control, hydraulic, river control. Bridges, construction, concrete superstructure with cast-in-place piles. Bridges, retrofitting, concrete superstructure with driven piles. Bridges, retrofitting, concrete superstructure with cast-in-place pile. bridges, construction, concrete, bridges, rehabilitation, concrete, bridges, rehabilitation with board piles, bridges, construction with board piles. For the financial documents, the bidder audited financial statement showing, among others, the bidder's total and current assets and liabilities, stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institution for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. The bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity must be at least equal to approved budget for the contract, computed using the prescribed formula. NFCC is equals to current assets minus current liabilities times 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portion of the projects under ongoing contracts, including awarded contracts yet to be started, coinciding with the contract to be bid. The values of the domestic bidders' current asset and liabilities shall be based on the latest audited financial statement submitted to the BIR. For the Class B documents for joint venture, valid joint venture agreement in accordance with RA 4566 and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit the respective fellowship certificate of registration in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of this IRR. The submission of the technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitutes compliance, provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all of its ongoing contract and audited financial statements.
For the submission and receipt of bids. For the first envelope, the technical proposal. The second envelope, the financial proposal. One original copy of the first technical and second financial envelope of each bid. Note, prior to the sale of bidding documents, only the following documents are required from the prospective bidders to it: the company ID or any government-issued ID, authorization letter, if not authorized liaison officer in the CWA, the special power of attorney for sole proprietorship or board partnership joint venture resolutions with secretary certificate for corporation, partnership, joint venture, and cooperative. For the content of the first envelope, the technical proposal. The valid updated certificate of LGIP's registration under platinum membership in accordance to GPPB Resolution 15-2021, dated October 14, 2021, issued in accordance with the amended Section 8.5.2 of the 2016 revised RRR of RA 9184. The PCAB license and registration. The special PCAB license if joint venture. The statement of ongoing government and private contracts. The statement of is LCC, the NFCC computation, and GBA if applicable. The original copy of the bid security in prescribed form, the amount and validity period. If in the form of surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission or the original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. For bid validity period, 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. And for the bid security and validity period is 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. Form of bid security. The form of bid security is the amount of bid security not less than the required percentage of the ABC. For cash or cashier manager's check is issued by the Universal or Commercial Bank, 2% of ABC. For bank draft, guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit issued by Universal or Commercial Bank, 2% of ABC. Surety bond callable on demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission and authorized to issue such security, 5% of ABC. The project requirements, which shall include the following: organizational chart for the contract to be bid, the list of contractors' personnel, the project manager, accredited project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen, to be assigned to the contract to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. The list of contractors' major equipment units, which are owned, leased, or under purchase agreement, supported by the proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project, as the case may be. The original duly signed omnibus assurance statement, and if applicable, the original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or the original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to each officer to sign the OSS and do acts to represent the bidder. The content of the second envelope, the financial proposal. The original or duly signed and accomplished financial bid form in accordance with the forms prescribed in Section 10, bidding forms or bidding documents. The original or duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities. The duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction, materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bids and the cash flow by quarter.
For bid evaluation, the financial component of the bids of each past bidder shall be evaluated using non-discretionary criteria, including arithmetical corrections for computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The bank shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceeds the ABC. The following factors are to be considered in the evaluation of the bid prices. Completeness of the bid. Bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including the BOQ, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. No price and required item shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified, indicating a zero or dash free to the government. All prices are deemed to include all taxes. Arithmetical corrections. Bid prices in figures versus words. Words prevail. Total price per item versus unit price per item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of the item. Unit price prevails. Total price versus actual sum of the component items. Actual sum prevails. Unit cost in detailed estimate versus unit cost in BOQ. BOQ prevails. Total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications which exceeds the ABC shall be disqualified.
For post-qualification, the post-qualification shall verify, validate, and ascertain the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the Class A eligibility documents supporting the PhilJEP Certificate of Registration and Membership in accordance with Section 8.5.2 or revised IRR of RA 9184, and all other statements made and documents submitted by the bidder using non-discretionary criteria. These criteria shall consider but shall not be limited to the following. For legal requirements, to verify, validate, and ascertain licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidder, and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist as provided in Section 25.3 of revised IRR of RA 9184. For technical requirements, verification and validation of the bidder's stated competence and experience, and the competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the project. Verification of availability and commitment and/or inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of required units to be owned, leased, under purchase by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding. Failure of the prospective bidder to state a complete technical description of the pledged equipment and a specific location shall result in the bidder's automatic post-disqualification for award of contract and forfeiture of its bid security per DO number 58 series of 2012. Checking the performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts. If any of these ongoing contracts shows negative slippage of at least 50% in any one project, or negative slippage of at least 10% in each of two or more contracts. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works and to complete ongoing contracts in the prescribed date after receipt of notice of defects and deficiencies. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificates of acceptance in the prescribed date after the receipt of the notice of defects and failures.
substandard quality of works, or unsatisfactory performance per contract term and conditions at the time of inspection. DO number 127 series of 2018, strict application of RA 9184 in the conduct of post-qualification of bidders with delayed ongoing contracts with the DPWH. Note that if the bank verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the award. Ascertainment of the authenticity of the bid security and its correctness as to type, amount, form and wording, and validity period as required in the bidding documents. For financial requirements, to verify, validate, and ascertain the bid price proposal of the bidder, and whenever applicable, the required committed line of credit in the amount specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding documents, or the bidder's NFCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of that transaction. Notes on the personnel and equipment requirements of the project as per DO number 9, series of 2012, technical requirements for civil works projects for public bidding. If a proposed key technical personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the same time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that the personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded the contract, and he or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of implementing office. The bidder may propose a key technical personnel who is not its employee, provided that the said personnel is required to submit a certification that he or she will work for the bidder if it is awarded the contract under bidding. These certifications shall be included in the first envelope of the sealed bid. Also to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should specify in the submitted bid the location of the equipment where they can be inspected. If any equipment is not in the specified location, then the bidder shall be post-disqualified. For the list of key personnel for all projects, we have the following. For project manager, we have 5 minimum years of similar experience and 5 minimum years of total work experience. For accredited project engineer, we have 3 minimum years of similar experience and 3 minimum years of total work experience. For project inspector, 2 minimum years of similar experience and 2 minimum years of total work experience. For materials engineer 1, we have 2 minimum years of similar experience and 2 minimum years of total work experience. For safety officer, we have 1 minimum year of similar experience and 1 minimum year of total work experience. Lastly, for foreman, we have 1 minimum year of similar experience and 1 minimum year of total work experience. Note that in the implementation of Section 3.0 of DO 148, Series of 2024, the guidelines on the accreditation and assignment of contractors and consultants, project engineers. For the list of key equipment units may be owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements supported by certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project, you may refer to the posted bidding documents. The proof of ownership of the equipment requirements are copies of current LTO official receipt and certificate of registration of the equipment, which should be attached together with the affidavit of ownership. In case of leased equipment, a lease contract and affidavit of commitment should be submitted with the lessor or owner as the pledger of the equipment, stating therein that the equipment will be available for the whole duration of the project. For purchase agreement, the description of the equipment to be purchased as brand or model, type of equipment, motor number, body number, and the capacity must be indicated in the document. Otherwise, the bank will not honor the purchase agreement and the bidder will be declared as non-complying. Likewise, list of contractors' major equipment units pledged to be used for the project must be supported by proof of ownership if it is owned, lease agreement if it is being leased, and purchase agreement if to be purchased. A certification of availability of equipment for the duration of the project must also be provided by the equipment owner and or lessor vendor. Prospective bidders or contractors are likewise required for the inclusion of the minimum materials testing equipment in the technical component of the bid, in compliance with DO number 11 series of 2017, superseding DO number 80 series of 1990 and all other issuances. all documents in support of the ownership of equipment pledge, and other documents photocopied from the original shall be legibly readable and will be authenticated as needed during the post-qualification process. Corollary, DO number 58 series of 2012 dated August 29, 2012 further provides the inclusion of material data on the pledged equipment of the bidder by requiring all bidder or contractor to fully comply with the contract minimum equipment requirements as prescribed in the bid documents, a complete technical description of their pledged equipment, whether owned or leased, such as but not limited to the engine number, year model, chassis number, plate number, production and load capacity, availability, and operating conditions. In addition, bidders were also required to state in the bid documents the particular place or site where the equipment are located as provided for under DO number 9 series of 2012, that failure to comply with the said requirements shall result in the bidder's automatic post-disqualification for award and forfeiture of its bid security.
For contract award, the contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest calculated and responsive bid as a result of the detailed evaluation and post-qualification conducted. Contract award should be made within the bid validity period. Notes on subcontracting. Subcontracting is not allowed. Common reasons for rejection of bids, ineligibility, and post-disqualification of bidders. Failure to submit the original copy of the surety bond certified by the Insurance Commission indicating the name of project, the procuring entity, and name of contractor. Shorter bid validity and bid security validity period. The overlapping of pledged equipment and committed key technical personnel. Failure to indicate the validity of bid in the bid form. Late submission of bid. Failure to submit supporting documents such as certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project, if equipment pledge is to be leased or purchased. Negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project, or negative slippage of at least 10% in each of 2 or more contracts, and unsatisfactory CPS rating. Common errors in the submission of bids, incomplete pages of bid for technical and financial documents, authority of the signatory to sign on behalf of the bidder. For single proprietor, signatory should be the owner or proprietor only. For corporation or cooperative, board secretary certificate and board resolution. For joint venture resolution or agreement. And for the partnership, as indicated in the articles of partnership. Deadline for submission of clarification and amendment is on November 4, 2024, care of the St. Jessica Eco Chairperson or El Napini Pomosino, Head Procurement Unit. Deadline for submission of bids is November 12, 2024 at 9 a.m. Number of copies of bid proposal, 1 original copy of the first technical and second financial envelope of its bid, and the place of submission of bids back Procurement Office, DPWH Iloilo 4th District Engineering Office. To all prospective bidders, you may submit your bid either electronically or manually, pursuant to Department Order Number 87, Series of 2020, and submit your queries, if any, until November 4, 2024, at least 10 days from the opening of bids. Our pre-bid conference for civil works adjourned at exactly 10:37. God bless us all.